Crystal clear turquoise water and white sand, this is the baseline for a tropical getaway. When we picture a vacation like this, the default path usually leads to the Maldives or Bali. But the international route introduces immediate friction. You have to manage visa logistics, passport validity, and the constant drain of converting currency against high exchange rates. The question is whether the Andaman and Nicobar Islands can genuinely match that international aesthetic without the logistical baggage. Finding a domestic alternative that meets these standards removes the two largest costs of a tropical trip, the international airfare and the currency markup. Aerial views of these shallow turquoise reefs and dense forests are why Andaman is frequently marketed as the Indian Maldives. The value proposition is simple. You get world-class scenery and high safety, but you trade away on-demand convenience and nightlife for strict travel logistics. The gap between an international trip and Andaman comes down to documentation, tech, and cost. For Andaman, an IDAR card replaces the passport, removing the primary barrier. However, these savings are tied to a low-tech environment, where on-demand services are non-existent. Choosing Andaman means keeping your budget in rupees while accepting that you are trading seamless luxury for infrastructural friction. The logistical effort starts at the airport. Securing budget prices often requires taking 2 a.m. red-eye flights into Port Blair. Reaching the famous white sands of Havelock or Neil Island requires navigating a network of rigid government or private ferries. These local boats operate on fixed windows. If your flight is delayed or you miss the early afternoon ferry cutoff, your itinerary stops until the next day. When mapping effort against reward, inter-island ferries represent high friction for a moderate scenic payoff. Further up, Radhanagar Beach's world-class scenery justifies the medium logistical effort. Meanwhile, Cellular Jail offers high historical reward with almost zero travel friction. The pristine nature of the islands is real, but it is gate-capped by a schedule that requires physical stamina and careful planning. On the islands, modern conveniences like Ola, Uber, and Swiggy are non-existent. There is no app-based transport or food delivery. The standard workaround is renting a scooter for roughly 500 rupees a day and utilizing local petrol, which is actually cheaper than on the mainland. This puts you in direct control of your itinerary, moving through sun-drenched, palm-lined roads at your own pace. The trade-off is physical. Instead of a cooled cab, you are navigating tropical heat and local traffic while driving yourself from beach to beach. The lack of tech demands a proactive, hands-on traveler, but it results in a more authentic, localized experience. The islands follow a strict solar clock, with sunrises at 5 a.m. and sunsets finishing by 5:30 p.m. This creates a local culture where markets and restaurants effectively shut down by 8:30 or 9 p.m. Unlike the late-night beach clubs and midnight dining of Bali, the island experience here ends at the dinner table. The benefit of this quiet is an unparalleled level of security, where travelers feel comfortable leaving their keys in a scooter ignition for an hour without concern of theft. This safety is tied to a significant government and military presence, a legacy of the island's history as a British penal colony. This historic military legacy includes early independence parades led by Subhash Chandra Bose. You trade the nightlife for a secure environment and a national history that you simply won't find in a standard international resort town. Financially, a high-end visual experience here costs roughly 15,000 to 16,000 rupees per person, excluding flights. Unlocking that value requires you to meticulously plan your ferry windows and respect the early sunset. Whether this makes sense depends on weighing budget against the island's vibe. For couples, it's a perfect match, pairing high aesthetics and extreme safety with a domestic budget. But for party seekers, the early curfews and lack of clubbing make it a poor fit. Andaman isn't a universal substitute for Bali. It's a specialized destination for a specific type of traveler. This trip is for nature lovers and history buffs who prioritize pristine ecosystems over modern luxury pampering. It is for those wanting world-class reefs without the international price tag, but not for those demanding spontaneous dining, app-based transport, or a booming nightlife. To maximize the budget, book your flights at least a month in advance to secure the lower-cost red-eye windows. If you are willing to trade on-demand convenience for a strict schedule, The Indian Maldives offers the highest return on investment for pristine beauty